Within Avalara VAT Reporting, navigate to the Transactions menu and import transactions. Here you will see the File Upload screen. Expanding the Upload Information panel will provide some useful information for uploading files. From this section, you can also access the Avalara predefined templates. You can download the full template, which covers data requirements for all return types, and the General Ledger template, GL for short. From the Import File screen, you have two options. If you are using the Avalara template that we showed a moment ago, select Yes. Otherwise, choose No to bring in your own report and map and transform your information. By selecting Yes, I can choose Avalara Full Template, and then I can upload my file. This may take a moment while it's processing. File has uploaded successfully. Alternatively, if you want to upload a file directly out of your ERP or accounting system, you'll first need to map your data fields to Avalara's data fields. By selecting No, I can bring my file in. I know that the report from my ERP, the headers start on row 5, so I'm going to select my header row as row 5. I'm then going to bring my data across and drag and drop it into the screen. Here I can confirm the headers from row 5. They look accurate to me, so I'm going to confirm these. I'm now presented with the Import Settings screen. This screen helps me choose whether I select VAT returns or Intrastat. Only one option can be selected at any one time. I can then highlight the countries I'm mapping the data for. I'm going to select Austria. This selection will help inform which fields are mandatory and which fields are optional in the next stage. By scrolling down the screen, I can click Next. I'm now presented with the screen which shows me which fields are required and which ones are optional for mapping. On the left-hand side, we have Avalara destination fields. This is where your data will be mapped to. On the right-hand side, I will have my source fields taken directly from the report I've just uploaded. The first option, document type, is a mandatory field. So here I'm going to select the appropriate column heading that matches the field that I'm mapping to. This happens to be the transaction type. I can also see a sample of data. This shows me the first line, which says sales invoice. I also have my file to hand, so I can look at the relevant fields directly. By looking at my file here, I can also see of my transaction type, the data doesn't quite match that of the expected format here. So I need to apply some transformation rules. In order to add a transformation rule to my mapping, I can say that my source data doesn't match the expected destination format by clicking No. Here I can add a transformation rule. For a sales invoice, the expected format is 0. So I'm going to add 0 in here. Then I need to introduce some conditions. To add a condition, I can click on Add a Condition. I'm going to select the column that I wish to transform, which is my transaction type. The format is text. I want the operator to equal the value in my source file. The text in my source file is sales invoice. Sales invoice equals the value 0. If I look to the example here, the sales invoice equals the value of 0, and the sample data is 0. I can add another transformation rule to account for my sales credits. In order to do this, my sales credit is a value of 2. I will type 2. I can add some additional conditions. Again, I'm selecting the transaction type, text equals the value of sales credit. So next, when I import my source file, it will recognize the sales credit with the appropriate value and the sales invoice with the appropriate value. I can continue down my mapping. I have a couple of optional fields here, so I'm going to skip those for now. For my transaction date, I am going to select transaction date that I have matching this particular format. I can also see my sample data, which is the 8th of January 2024. I'm going to confirm the data format, which is day, month, year. This will then convert the format of my date into the correct format required within VAT reporting. For my invoice number, I will match to my invoice number column. There's no transformation required here. Again, I can skip any optional fields. I can also add in my invoice date, and again, selecting the format of my date, which is day, month, year. Again, I can repeat my mapping throughout all of the columns that I have in my import file until I have mapped everything. Then I can click Next. Give my template a name, and then I can save. My template has now been created successfully. So next time I want to upload my report, I can now select Yes and select the template schema that I've just created. I can then simply drag and drop my report onto the screen, and the file will be processed using the mapping and transformation rules that we've set up. And this same schema can be used every time I want to bring a similar document into VAT reporting.